ladies and gentlemen, to the BFNL Footy Show for another week. We're into August. The Suns decided to make a token appearance this week, and it's definitely starting that downhill slope, the home stretch, if you will, towards the finals. Liam, of course, into August now. We play finals in August, so they're not far away at all. Sean Kelly's my name. Joining me, my co-host, as always, Liam Brady. Great to have you in once again, mate.
Good to be here, Sean. Looking forward to talking about last weekend, mate, and a couple of surprise teams with a chance to play finals footy all of a sudden, mate.
They are indeed. We'll get to that in due course. The first thing that we want to talk about, though, our first talking point for this week, something we've discussed over the last couple of weeks, but can discuss in more detail now, of course, the Hall of Fame night that was last week. Congratulations to the 5 new nominees for the Hall of Fame, plus the Legend Elevation. Firstly, Peter O'Connell, an inaugural member of the Hall of Fame, upgraded to a legend of the Ballarat Football Netball League's Hall of Fame. Quite fitting as well to have Joffa up there as a legend, I think.
Yeah, definitely, Sean. I think the thing about Joffa O'Connell is he's so well respected by so many people in the league, and we still see him at the football these days. He's a player, he's a person that has had such a significant impact on the BFL throughout his playing career.
Yep.
But he's still played a really important role since he's finished playing as well. And just having a look at some of his accolades, in terms of his career, 5-time best and fairest winner, total of 10 senior and junior best and fairest. He's obviously been a captain of the Ballarat team, the best team in the last 20 years for Lake Wendouree.
Yep.
The list goes on. So he's we know that the senior best and fairest award at the Lake Wendouree Footy Club is named after him as well. So the Joffa O'Connell medal. So. Yeah, look, he's a really humble person as well, a really good guy, so it was great to see him elevated, and great to see a lot of Lake Wendouree people there on the night supporting him, obviously his wife Ellen, and lots of other Lake Wendouree officials and supporters of the club, so it was good for them to be there to celebrate the occasion with Joffa.
Yeah, it certainly was as well. Our other Hall of Fame inductees for season 2016. You'll see them all up on the screen at the moment. Keith Lawrence from the Sebastopol Football Club, Sharon Canny from Golden Point and East Point, Ken Ayers from the North Ballarat Football Club, Paul Nichols from the Ballarat Footy Club, and also Malcolm Scott from North Ballarat, Sebastopol and Bacchus Marsh. Congratulations to each of those. A fitting nomination for the Hall of Fame for each of those people this year, and great to see them rewarded.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Sean. And the night's fantastic because the family can actually sit back, relax, and really, I suppose, soak up the each individual induction.
Yep.
And I know, just speaking to a few people who were there on the night, they really enjoyed the video package that was put together for each inductee. Just hearing from different people that have, I suppose, whether played with those inductees or just know them personally, I suppose. That was really good to hear. And
must have had some good interview questions asked by a really good interviewer for those videos.
You're involved, I think, mate.
Yeah,
good stuff. So,
kind of just pump Mo ties up there a little bit, mate.
Yeah, from all reports, it was a really good night. So we know that this occasion takes place every 2 years. So we'll have to wait until 2018 for the next one.
Will be very, very good to look forward to. It gives us a couple of years to wait for it, but it will be worth the wait as always. Talking point number 2. Now, you mentioned it off the top before. All of a sudden, we've been talking about Melton, Darley and East Point fighting for that 6th spot. All of a sudden, there's another name that's been entered into that conversation. The Ballarat Football Club, after another impressive win on the weekend, have jumped up into 8th spot on the ladder. They're a game behind Melton and Darley. They're a game ahead of East Point. Things go their way this weekend. They could climb into the top 6.
Yeah, I think if Ballarat were to make the top 6, it'd be nearly the story of the year.
I reckon you're right.
Look, everyone thought they would finish well down due to the experienced players that they've lost. But, the youth they've got in their side have really developed as the season's gone on. And they've... The thing that's impressed me is that they obviously haven't just won a few games, but a few losses they've had, they've been pretty competitive as well with a young group, which would have been really pleasing for Ash Baker. So look, you never know, they could sneak in because those other sides you mentioned, Melton, Darley, and East Point, have all had chances to probably cement their spot over the last few weeks, but they just can't record victories.
No, that's right.
Especially East Point, had a few chances and they've fallen short. So look, Ballarat. I suppose over the next 3 rounds we'll find out, but they've certainly got a chance.
East Point not out of it just yet. Big couple of rounds for them. They play Ballarat and Melton in the next 2 weeks as well, so their future's definitely in their own hands. Yep. But after that loss against North City, they're coming from a long way back at the moment, East Point.
Yeah, they are. Look, I thought they would have been that side that would certainly contend this year. They've had a couple of really good performances. I thought their performance against Redan, a couple of months ago at the City Oval when they went down by a couple of points after being 40 odd points down, was a really good performance. And I thought after that game they'll keep on improving, and they'll certainly play finals footy. They've been a little bit inconsistent since that game, so if they play their best footy on any given day, they can actually beat anyone.
Yeah, they can.
But it's just a matter of them putting together for the four-quarter performance.
We'll talk about it more later on, but their last 3 games, Ballarat, Melton and Sebastopol, so they're everything.
A chance to win all of those, so...
They are indeed. Talking point number 3, we're starting to get towards event season, Liam. Obviously, the Hall of Fame dinner out of the way now. In a couple of weeks' time, we've got our first big events night for the year, the Robert Allen Medal Night, the junior presentation night for the football and netball ranks. And a couple of weeks away, we're pleased to announce I suppose this is an exclusive for the Footy Show this week, because I don't think it's gone out to too many people just yet, but the guest speaker this year for the Robert Allen Medal. I'll tell you what, if Brian Taylor was here, he'd be getting excited right now because it's his man, the package. Jake Stringer from the Western Bulldogs, the superstar of the Western Bulldogs forward line, will be our guest speaker at the Robbie Allen Medal this year.
Yeah, it's a great get. So I've actually heard Jake speak on a couple of occasions. He spoke at the Maryborough Castlemaine District Football League Grand Final luncheon last year and was really, really good, really insightful. He's an A-grade player these days. He's an All-Australian from last year. He's going to be probably a 250, 300 game player for the Western Bulldogs. So
Pre-season top 10 in the little paper.
Yep. So for the BFL to be able to secure his services to speak on Robbie Allen Medal Night is great, and I'm sure the kids will really enjoy him.
Yeah, it should be a great night as well. So anyone that's interested in going along, have a chat to your junior club secretaries in the next week or so, because final numbers aren't that far away from being required to send into the BFL. So if you want to come along, watch Jake Stringer in action at the Robert Allen Medal Night. Get in touch with your junior clubs as soon as you can. This weekend, Liam, round 16, 3 to go in the BFL senior competition, and some big, big games coming up this weekend, starting down the road at Mattingley Park. Bacchus Marsh taking on Melton. Bacchus Marsh flying at the moment, and Melton wanting to keep their foot inside the top 6. They're there at the moment. They're the incumbents in 6th spot. They want to keep it that way. Yeah,
big test here for Melton. The way Bacchus Marsh have played so far this year has been unbelievable, I think. And full credit to the way that Travis Hodgkin has I suppose, developed the side since he's arrived there at the helm at the start of the pre-season. So I think they'll be too good for Melton on the weekend. They're a top 2 team, Bacchus Marsh, and they'll probably show that on the weekend.
Yeah, they are indeed. Melton will back their midfield in. Obviously, Melton are a team that in the last few weeks have really got some troops back together, and the week off last week would have been really good for them because they can take stock, they can really set themselves some goals for these last 3 seasons. It's basically a mini final series for them if they want to play there. But you're right, that being said, Bacchus Marsh are in great form at the moment. They've got winners on every line, and it's hard to see them dropping this one, especially at Mattingley Park.
It is, mate.
Redan taking on Lake Wendouree here at the City Oval, a heavy City Oval. So watch this space. I don't. Last week, obviously, we were talking about the Sebas and Redan game, and that got moved late in the week. Whether the same thing again remains to be seen this week. City Oval in a bit better nick than what Marty Bush Reserve was, but either way, this is going to be a great game. Redan and Lake Wendouree, 2 of the top 4 teams in the league at the moment, taking each other on. Lakers were looking for the bye last weekend. There's absolutely no doubt about it, and they'll come back resting a few niggles and hopefully getting somewhere back towards their best form, and they'll need it too because Redan are in very good form.
Yeah, I think Redan's second half of the weekend was fantastic. They were actually challenged by Sebas in the first half, and full credit to the way Sebas played. Redan coming up to half time played really well. I think considering this game at the City Oval, I'm going to tip Redan.
Yep.
The Lakers are still, I think, a little way away from getting their full strength side back on the park. So I think that'll happen before finals. But they've got the luxury of probably not going to miss the top 2 now, Lake Wendouree. So they'll certainly be wanting to win this game. But I just think Redan, they know that they have to win this to finish 3rd.
Yep.
Which they'll desperately want to do. So I just think that, based on the fact that the game's at the City Oval, I may have said that before, but I think Redan will win.
Well, as we know, nothing between the sides in 3rd, 4th and 5th at the moment on the ladder. Literally minute percentage points between the 3 of them, and that's going to be a very interesting race towards the end of the season. Another team in that race is the Sunbury Footy Club. They take on Melton South this week at the Melton Rec Reserve, and you'd think this would be another chance for Sunbury to really start to push up towards that 3rd spot that they're looking for as well.
Yeah, it's a really important game for Sunbury. They can't afford to take Melton South too lightly. I think if they do, they'll come undone. We know that the competition's so even these days, and look, Melton South have played some pretty good footy in patches at home so far this season. So I think Sunbury will win, and as we know, there's still a chance to finish 3rd as well. So I think they'll travel to Melton South and get the 4 points.
Yeah, I think so as well. Really interesting game at the Eastern Oval this week. East Point taking on Ballarat. Mentioned it off the top of the show. Ballarat, of course, in 8th spot now. They're a game ahead of East Point, and if results go their way, Ballarat win and Melton and Darley lose this week, which is a chance because Melton and Darley both with tough games as well. The Swans could find themselves on the precipice of the top 6. East Point just have to win this game if they want to play finals. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, you're spot on, Sean. I think they will win this game. We know that
Ballarat beat them at the start of the year.
We know that Ballarat beat East Point up at Alfred at the start of the year, under lights, I think it was. So yeah, I think East Point will bounce back here from their last encounter, and the fact that the game's at the Eastern Oval, they've probably just got a little bit too much senior experience, East Point, still in their team.
Yep.
I think Ballarat will take it right up to them, but East Point just.
I think this will be really, really close, actually. I had a look at East Point for a little bit on the weekend against North City, and North City absolutely devoured them. I watched the first quarter. It was a strong breeze, but it was still 9-1, and North City won just about every clearance there was. Ballarat have improved. They're looking really good at the moment, and if they can start winning the footy, there could be an upset on the cards here. I'm tipping East Point because they have to.
Yeah.
They just have to. If they want to play finals and they want to show this league that they're fair income, they have to win this game. There's no two ways about it. That's why I'm tipping them, because that's what good sides do. They respond after losses like last week to real challenges like this. If East Point are a good side, they win this game.
Yep.
Sunday footy again this week as well at Eureka Stadium, the construction zone that is Eureka Stadium at the moment. I was up there yesterday, the jackhammers are already out demolishing parts of the grandstand, so it's a bit of a maze there at the moment. There's certain seating areas you can go and sit on the hill. If you want to watch the netball, you've got to go through the number 2 oval and around that way.
Yep.
But North City playing Darley this weekend, huge game for both of these teams. As we mentioned, North City, they looked unstoppable at home last week. They looked really, really good. They get Jordan Burke back into the side this week. But Darley, season just about on the line, you'd think. They're sitting in 7th spot. They know that a win can put them a game clear inside the top 6 if results fall their way. They really need this one, but they were off the boil a couple of weeks ago against Redan. Hopefully the buy's given them a chance to settle, and hopefully we'll see a cracking game on Sunday.
Yeah, I just think the fact that this game is played, it's up at Eureka Stadium. North play the ground so well. They're playing good form. Jordan Burke back into the side, missed the last couple of weeks through suspension. So, based on those reasons, I think North City will win. But as you said, though, if Darley are to play finals, and they can cause an upset here, they'll certainly cement their spot inside the top 6.
Yeah, they need to as well. I don't think that they will win this week. North City to win for mine. It could be another week where that 6th spot just isn't resolved at all, because if results go the way that they should, you'd think that Bacchus Marsh should beat Melton, you'd think that North City would beat Darley, and then the East Point Ballarat game, whatever happens there, it's not going to really solve the picture in any way. So could be talking about that 6th spot again on the BFNL Footy Show next week. That's all we've got time for this week, though. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, of course, to our fantastic sponsors, McDonald's Ballarat and Ballarat Toyota, for their support of the Footy Show throughout season 2016. Thanks, of course, to Liam Brady. Thanks for being here, mate. And thanks for obviously sharing your expertise with us once again.
It's been good to be here, mate.
Always good to have you here as well, and always good to have you here on the BFNL Footy Show. We'll see you next week.
Bye for now.